Good evening, Rocket League fans. Welcome to Minor League Doubles.
There's still a big chance here for anyone to take this in regulation, and this is
No!
10 seconds are gone, and the ball.
With both members of Orange out of net right now, towards the net. This is a need. Numerics puts it in. This game's not over yet.
Bring out your predictions. Bring out your scores. Let's see where we go. Game 7. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. Fridge in position. Scores.
Just an insane series.
I just typed the chat. I can feel my heartbeat. Right? It's so tense.
What a series.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Sunday of action here on MLD. I'm, of course, Jeeves. Alongside me, the Asian sensation and Animate J. I think I've already used that this season. Either way, it should be a good one. We've got a doubleheader going. What's up first, Jay?
First up, it's a Sky Division matchup. The Hawks trying to track down a wildcard spot in the Blue Conference, but to do so, they have to overcome one of the stronger teams in the division in the Jets. A few games ahead of them right now, I believe it is 3 games ahead, trying desperately to keep pace with the Storm Division, as those guys have those wildcard spots on lockdown right now as we get to the nitty-gritty of the season.
Yeah, and then after that, Blizzard versus Puffin. So let's talk about this first matchup, Hawks versus the Jets. Like you said, going to be a tight one for the Hawks. It's going to be fairly difficult. The Jets, in terms of the numbers, have them beat in pretty much every category, at least in terms of what you want. So they've got the better record. Not that that particularly matters here because, you know, head-to-head is always fun. But they've put up about 20-ish or so more goals than them across the season. Had to make the only big difference. The Jets have had to make a few more saves. The Hawks haven't really had to do too many. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at assists. Jay, you're gonna have to help me out. I've stopped learning and actually forgotten how to read a spreadsheet.
Yeah, the Jets ahead in basically every category but saves, and they've posted a significant number more shots, 70 more shots almost, than the Hawks. So it's a big question of whether or not the Hawks are going to be able to turn around a bit of history here. They dropped the first series 4-1 in week 3 to the Jets, and they will need to try and reverse those fortunes here and possibly pick up a 4-1 themselves or a 5-0 and put the tiebreakers in their favor as they move into the final 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, well, whenever they get in, go ahead and talk about what happens on the field. But while we're waiting, let's go ahead and get the rosters out of the way. For the Hawks, it is going to be Furphy and Uppercase 1, and the Jets will be fielding Sith Droid and Springy. Both of their teams have their top goal scorer and top assister playing for them. For the Jets, it is indeed Springy at 50 out of 114 goals and 22 of 56 of his team's assists. And for the Hawks, Furphy sitting at 43 out of 94 of his team's goals and 11 out of 30 assists. So, let's see which one is able to come out on top over things. The kickoff underway. We have found our way into, I believe as you put it the other day, Christmas in August.
Yeah, Utopia Snowy, the map for the week, as Cosmic suffering from some graphical issues. Actually, all Rocket Labs maps with the last update having a bit of a problem with a couple of the textures on there blocking the camera angles and things, so made a switch to Utopia Snowy, but I don't mind the cold, do you?
The cold never bothered me anyway. Clip that and make all the memes you like out of it. This is now Springy out in front of the box, no problem for Furphy, able to buy a little bit of time. Long clear downfield, Sith Droid pushed out into the corner. First 40 seconds, not a lot going for either team, but a huge pinch clear out in front of the box, and Furphy, nice job staying patient, well aware that nobody from the Jets close in tow to contest for a potential shot on net. Does not steal that corner boost, however, went for the challenge, and now it's going to be a really long drive, and Springy doing a nice job there, making sure he got the ball into space, buying his teammate time.
A lot of patience by Sith Droid as well, waiting for the clear from the Hawks. It wasn't a great one by Uppercase 1, and Springy was able, or Sith Droid, excuse me, able to keep that one all the way across, and pressure still now on in the Hawks' light blue end right now.
Sith Droid over 1. Furphy, very well-paced defensive play, however. Not much of a hurry to apply any pressure, letting his teammate go first. Sith Droid, plenty of space to work with out of the corner. Furphy reading the play nicely, however, trying to keep things in the red. And a nice demo on the way back. Gonna stall the possession for the Jets. The Jets, as we said, tend to generate a lot of offense. They've already generated 3 shots. I believe their per-game average is right around 7. As we're not even halfway through this game. They look to be on pace for that.
And right now, though, the Hawks doing a very good job limiting the quality of the opportunities that the Jets are getting. They're putting the ball towards the net, but the Hawks are in really good positions to deal with the ball, keep it well to the outside, and they don't get a lot of follow-up opportunities that come back their way from the Jets.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, expand a little more about on that, because I know you and I, we talked a little bit about why we think, because the Hawks are one of the few statistical anomalies for the league. They've got, they're one of the 3 clubs that have over 100 saves, right?
Yes, they are, and the weird thing about that is they actually don't give up more than about the league average in saves, less than shots against.
Shots.
Less than 7 shots against per game for the Hawks, but they save a significant number of those ones. So their positioning very, very strong. They're able to keep that ball away from danger and not give away follow-up opportunities.
And not to be understated, the ability to limit the quality of shot. Remain calm, cool, and collected in the net. Goes right through one defender. Needs a tough play. Sith Droid running into the side and trading a little paint with uppercase 1. Going to make that difficult. So we've passed the halfway point. We're at 2-minute warning. And the Jets still struggling to find to the back of the net. The Hawks have had a few chances for a couple of breakaways, but always able to get back in time is the Red Crew. Uppercase 1 now. No problem off the back wall. Springy going to try and apply some pressure here. A great pinch off the ceiling. Furphy has to wait a little bit. Try and get a read on it. Unfortunately, not able. Oh my goodness, you're kidding. Sith Droid pounds it off the back wall. Springy has to try and come in for the second shot. This one off the post goes down and off uppercase 1's nose. The Hawks finally let one slip through.
The Sith Droid not able to cut the angle back to the far post, but he does enough to get it out to Springy. Just lobbing that goalwards. It's actually off the crossbar and away, but uppercase 1 catching that on the roof of the endo. It's unfortunate for the Hawks. They will give up the opener on an own goal, and now the Jets up 1-0 with about 90 left to go in this game.
That is the real problem when you're up against a team who's able to generate more offensive pressure, even if you are the Hawks and you limit the quality of chances at the net. If you're not able to generate your own chances and they just keep pounding your net, then eventually one of them will indeed slip through. There's a nice demo in the background. Furphy not able to cleanly get this one out into midfield. Springy running a little interference, making it a very slow push out of the Hawks' half for them. Only grab boost. Sith Droid right back into the mix. Off the side wall, comes up empty. He's not able to steal that corner boost, has a second chance here. Still doesn't get it, and that means he'll have to rely solely on how Springy plays this one, as now he's completely out of the play. Towards the corner, rifled towards net, off target, as Furphy pushes one wide. Springy the 1-2 touch, actually pushes it the wrong way. Will deny that boost on the way out, however. Uppercase 1 on 0 right now, not going to have a lot of options, and getting that one taken away out of the midfield as well. Sith Droid, great job running interference, but who cares? Furphy cuts one down. They equalize with 27 left.
Not only did he cut one down, but he definitely takes the player out of the game, skidding Sith Droid there, and then demoing Springy for good measure. Beat anyway by the shot. He finds the bottom corner and in. 1-1 game late here, looking like we might see an overtime here to start off this first series.
Hawks needed one desperately. Sitting at 3 shots, the Jets at 5. Final 20 seconds remaining. Sith Droid hard off the sidewall. Springy just going to leave it for his teammate. Has a chance and didn't fully commit for it. The second opportunity, wheels around, blocks out the defender, and the Jets going to find the back of the net.
Unfortunately for the Hawks on this one, Furphy mistimes that play, gets too close to the ball, and Springy tipping that over top in front for his teammate, who rotates very, very quickly in. Sith Droid putting the Jets with their noses ahead here late. The Hawks, a couple of mistakes on defense, going to cost them this game, barring a miracle here.
It was very unfortunate for Furphy as well. He was trying to reverse back into goal to have a chance at that ball, and that was right where Springy landed off his attempt, as the ball will touch the ground. The Jets able to take game 1 out of the series. And, well, I guess, yeah, it's a series. It's a series. I didn't say best of, so we're good.
Exactly, but the shot counts very much the story of this one here. Only 3 for the Hawks, 7 for the Jets, right around their seasonal average at the moment. And that tells you about all you need to know about this game. The Hawks under siege for the most part, and not able to really get any quality moving forward.
So let's see. The Hawks, being under that immense amount of pressure throughout the whole game, it really becomes a question of what you think that they have to do, because, I mean, it didn't feel like they were particularly boost-strapped. There were a few times where they were able to deny some boost rotating out of the Hawks' end in terms of the Jets, but I don't really feel like the Hawks were ever pressed for boost or any of that sort. I think it's just an inability to clear the ball effectively.
Yeah, it's really just it there, and more of the same as Furphy going up high to try and tip that one away, missing uppercase one, gets across for the first one, but can't keep it past Springy. And the Jets will finish start where they finished game one, off to a lead.
Yeah, Furphy perhaps misreading the speed of that ball. I'm not sure if he would have had time to go up and use the back wall and try and jump off that and try and conserve some boost. He only had about 40 in the tank when he went up for it, so tough clear to make, and basically the same mistake. He was able to get a handle on it, unfortunately found it twice and just knocked it straight back down, and it's a quick lead for the Jets here.
Yeah, he keeps taking off just a little bit too far off the goal line, and it leaves a seam behind him between himself and the backboard, which if you don't have the timing right, the ball will fall into, and when you hit it, just kind of drops against the backboard, falls dead for the other team. Down 2-0, the Hawks have to dig deep here, or they risk this series getting away from them.
And the Hawks definitely in need of a couple of big wins here in this series. As we've talked about a little bit, this is all interdivisional play from here on out. We are currently in week 8, correct?
Yes.
Or week 7? Week 8, okay. Yes, week 8. The second week of interdivisional... No, wait, this is the first week of interdivisional play. Come on, Chiefs, get your head wrapped around the thing straight. It's not that hard.
I mean, you and I are both working off a low amount of sleep, given how early we were up to do the Shift Pro League EU qualifiers for LCS. So I don't blame you, I don't blame myself for making a couple of mistakes here and there. It's been a long day of Rocket League for us.
And more on the table afterwards. It'll be the Blizzard and the Puffins after we get this series wrapped up. Sith Droid wants one towards the left side, and will be off target, bullied out of the way by Uppercase, and we're starting to see more of the same from the Hawks here. And the Jets really just able to apply plenty of pressure. They've got 4 shots on the board before the halfway point, and the Hawks, once again, failing to register at least one. He's finally through one defender, pops it high, great bump, and unfortunately Furphy's going to be a little bit late to the party. They will have to concede possession. Now it's a 1-on-0 as Furphy coming out of the backfield with the demo.
The Uppercase on the dribble, got the flick right, but then got a little bit too close to follow up once the defender was able to pop the ball up and over top of him. He just waits a little bit, pulls up, breaks, probably had a chance for a shot on goal rather than going underneath it and missing out on the play.
Bit of a double commit right there from Furphy, and Uppercase 1 doesn't give the space required for the boost. Thankfully ran right into the defender. Unfortunately, Sith Droid comes up out of the midfield and pounds it into the top center.
Yeah, really tough for the Hawks. So you see the bounce pass between Springy, gets both of them out. Furphy tries to rotate through, can't tip it away as Sith Droid goes up, dunks him straight into the net. 3-0 Jets here. The Hawks didn't want that one to go in, and the mountain gets a little bit taller for them now. They're going to have to start flapping those wings and get up to some heights.
Well, they've got just about 3 minutes to do it, so they have plenty of time. It's just a matter of can they start generating that offensive pressure. There's a pass towards the center of the pitch from Furphy. Long clear downfield. Springy not in the best position to deal with it. This is by far and away one of the Hawks' best chances. All Furphy has to do is make sure he gets this out to mid. Doesn't quite get the power or the bounce that he really wanted off of that corner. And another drive going to stall for the blue. As of course we did touch on this being interdivisional play, the Hawks, I believe sitting in, let me see if I can organize my thoughts properly, 2nd place in the Sky Division, correct?
3rd place.
No, 3rd place.
The Ducks out to the front of it at a canter. The Jets ahead of them right now. So with these 2 losses potentially looming them in the face, they are going to be incredibly hard pressed to try and make up ground and challenge for one of the last wildcard spots in the Blue Conference.
Yeah, how many wildcard spots? There's only 1 wildcard spot, right? Per
2.
conference, correct? There's 2.
2. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shows what I know. 1 per division and then 2 per conference. Okay, so the top team in it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember now. It's been a while since playoffs for MLD.
Well, the format changed this season, so I don't actually blame you too much.
Oh. Well, never mind. I blame you entirely then, Jay. You council member.
I blame me too.
Huge missed clear from the Jets. Hawks finally able to find the back of the net, but only a minute 21 remaining to find 2 more.
Yeah, big miss clear by Springy there after Sithroid gets dunked by Uppercase. Really good patience by Uppercase as well to just tap that in, didn't flip at it to slam it home. Very calm, collected, gets the accuracy on net, and they cut the lead down to 2, but they still need another quick one here to buy themselves the most time to try and tie this up late.
Springy shut down by Uppercase 1. That one's actually past Sithroid, not in the most favorable fashion here for the Jets. He's able to recover nicely, however, and get things out into neutral territory once more as they advance over onto the Hawks side. Uppercase so patient and passive in the net, ends up giving away the goal. You really have to wonder why he didn't just go charging at this ball in the corner.
Thought he was beat a little bit too soon, and I don't think he quite turned to it when the bounce went up. So as he turned, he realized that Springy probably had him beat, but then he pre-jumps, and that's what really cost him there, because he doesn't have the ability to recover once Springy takes the shot.
With that, basically game 2 fully out of reach for the Hawks. Well, unless they find the back of the net right there, Springy will push it with the nose outward into the corner. Decent challenge by Uppercase as Furphy down towards his own corner. Just needs a little bit of boost before they get things going, and perhaps looking for a little momentum as they head past game number 2 and look towards the future. And you have to wonder if it's going to be damage control. This was basically the same game as game number 1 with just more goals from the Jets as Sithroid finds one.
Yeah, a couple of misclears and then a missed challenge by Uppercase is what sets this up. Furphy going in a little too quickly, bounces over top of him. Sithroid with the follow-up kills this game off at 5-1. But you're right, Achieves, very much so shades of game 1 here, where the Hawks just not able to clear the ball effectively, and they get burned every time they give up a weak play to the Jets.
Furphy downfield, Springy, how about one for the road? Not able to go under Uppercase 1. The final 2 seconds going to tick off. That will wrap things up here as the Hawks try and get one to move into game number 3. No dice, however, and game number 2 cleanly over the Jets. More of the same. We've already touched on it. There's really not too much that need be said. And the Jets kind of rolling. Uppercase 1 doing a nice job with 4 saves, however. Furphy, I'm trying to think about what sort of rotation that the Uppercase 1 and Furphy were playing in. It felt like Uppercase was really more the first man through in the rotation when they got on offense, though, as we saw Furphy come in a few times from the midfield for their few brief stints over on the Jets side of things.
The problem is you can't really generate much of a rotation when you don't generate pressure in the offensive zone, because as you're transitioning back and forth from offense to defense, you never really have time to get set and really cycle through possession and go, I got it, then you take it. And it really kind of shows there because it's one player getting the ball going upfield and then they lose possession and have to defend.
Well, Furphy able to secure a brief push over onto the blue side, denying that boost, but needed the touch on the ball to make sure they held onto it. As Springy gets the midfield boost for free, Uppercase had 65 to work with on the back wall. Leaves this one for Furphy to come and challenge. A beautiful read, and it's back into the position, and now we'll get to see a nice 2-on-1 here for the Hawks, but they needed boost and unfortunately left the middle of the field wide open, and Springy gets out of it for free, and a huge miss clear. Sithroid just going to roll one in.
Yeah, under no pressure, in the corner is Furphy. Just dives at that ball, misses completely, and Sithroid is, thank you very much. It's an empty cage to drive into.
Feels bad, man, if you're Furphy right now, and you have to shake it. You've got 4 minutes, 19 seconds. You are not out of this game yet. They did a fairly nice job generating some early pressure over on the offensive side of things, I thought. So, I mean, you keep up that mentality. You make sure you secure your own corner boost. I think now that I'm watching it a lot more and we've seen 10, 11 minutes of play between these two guys, I think a lot of it comes down to the challenge game coming out of the Hawks. They kind of put it into space, and then the problem is as they approach for the challenge, they either don't cover enough distance or position themselves as they're trying to take it.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation, just not quite getting out, really getting stuck in on the challenges, trying to win those 50s. And that little bit of space that they're giving the other team, either before they hit the ball or just by not getting to the ball in time, it's letting the Jets win a lot of challenges that would otherwise probably still be neutral or in the Hawks' favor.
And they always have to go so far to go and grab boosts out of their own side and really limits their possessions. But here's a chance, just couldn't read that tough bounce. Reading it off that top corner, one of the most difficult things. That's sort of what you really start learning to do as you start approaching ranking out of MLD. You start getting a feel for when you're going to hit that top corner and it'll bounce straight down. But until you really get a strong idea of how that ball reacts and how quickly it comes down, it's a very, very difficult shot to take.
Yeah, the upper intersection, one of the most difficult places on the arena to read, as it has so many different ways it can go down, usually very sharp. Oh, dribbler across the line. Jets up 2.
That is brutal. Springy had space and time to work with, and really didn't feel like he squared that ball up a lot. Kind of felt like a bit of a soft shot, but at the end of the day, it was well placed, right off the par and down. And they sit out comfortably with another 2-0 lead, but this time the Hawks limiting plenty of the shots. The Jets have not had the same ability to generate pressure. They are forcing more challenges and a neutral game if you're looking at it from the Hawks perspective, but the problem is it's still remaining a lot on their own side.
In uppercase 1, you just saw another example there. There was one on the previous exchange where he hesitated, gave up possession to the Jets, and they drove it right back down the other way. He's just not getting out, believing that he can get the ball. And Furphy is having an absolute shocker of a game, missing a number of easy touches in his own end.
This is one of their best chances to get it downfield. Furphy, unfortunately, not respecting that touch off the back wall from Sith Droid. It was actually a big mistake, I think, from Sith Droid trying to go for that ball, just because there was going to be nobody to react to it. You're purely giving a chance to long clear it for your opponents, and they got away with one there as the Hawks didn't quite respond effectively. But now, still, the Hawks doing a nice job here in Game 3, limiting the chances for the Jets on net. We'll have to see if they're able to convert that success into offensive possessions. Here's one off the back wall, bounce out to the mid, and kept away by Springy. Well defended as Sith Droid waits patiently. Nice job not double committing there from the Jets as well.
Yeah, the Jets very disciplined in their defensive touches. Conversely, the Hawks a little bit squirrely still on both ends of the field at the moment. They just can't quite get themselves synced up to try and make anything work, and it's a big reason why their offense is stagnating here, still looking for the first goal in this game.
Springy had a shot onto the left side, missed clear on the side wall, thankfully from both teams, as Sith Droid goes to reapply pressure, and Furphy comes up empty again.
Unfortunately for the Hawks, this one might be late enough that it kills the game off. Both of them stuck in the same corner there. Furphy getting stuck watching the ball as both he and Uppercase gets beat by Sith Droid. 1 ball, 2 players gone, open net, 3-0 Jets.
Yeah, I think that mistake stemmed from Furphy's sort of... Because we harp on it all the time. We say you need to go and shut that ball down in the corner before it gets into frame. And I think Furphy took that idea and turned it up to 11. And went out onto the sidewall trying to read a pass off the back wall or something. And just didn't have enough space to react to the bouncer out of the corner. It's a little bit of a double commit there from the Hawks that will have to react. Springy gets the demo, and Uppercase 1 going to have to rally and will push it away towards the opposite side of the pitch. Long clear downfield, 30 seconds. The Hawks would like at least 1. Moving in towards game number 4. That's a nice bounce out in front. Sith Droid right there for it. Furphy can only wait. Try and keep things in the mix. Great pass towards the top of the box. Unfortunately, too close is Uppercase. Perhaps one of their best chances to really generate a solid passing play, and a bit of a double commit, causing a bit of a scrap in front of the Hawks net, and that will be game number 3 coming to a close. The Jets, not quite as successful as previous matches, and I mean, the Hawks are in damage control mode now, but I think they have a fairly decent shot at taking the game away, and perhaps game 5 if they can figure out what they need to do here in game 4.
The difficulty with losing 3 games to the Jets here, it makes that chase down for the wild card position so very difficult now. They almost have to win out the rest of the season, hope the people that they're chasing lose out the rest of the season, and
which is so hard too, because that puts Like, the Hawks' chances basically rest on, who else is in the sky? The Aviators. It rests on the Aviators defeating either the Jets or the Ducks.
Well, they definitely have to beat the Jets because that's one of the teams they're chasing, but they also have to rely on a lot of help out of the Storm division as they've got the 2 wildcard spots at the moment. Furphy, quick kickoff. He's very, very good at those, sneaking that one by to get the Hawks off on the right foot here in Game 4.
Yeah, definitely a nice start. Let's see if they can hang on to that now. Furphy actually switching from the Octane. He's now in my preferred vehicle of choice, the Dominus. I believe that was what we saw him play on a few weeks ago as well. Having a lot of that success, and he gets a smasher off the back wall and unfortunately misses the second touch. But I think Furphy's happy with the car switch right now. He's playing well.
Already feeling better. You can see him getting a lot more confidence with the touches. Sometimes it's all you need is the placebo effect of a different hitbox. And I mean, you know me, I'm an Octane man myself. I swear up and down by it. But some people just suit the lower, flatter hitbox a little bit better.
You know, there's a word for they prefer the lower, flatter hitbox, Jay. Badger has said it plenty of times, and it is called, as we like to call it, quote-unquote, long car height.
I'm all about the tall car hype.
Disgusting. You're the worst. No, I'm kidding. Sip Droid now. Out of the Hawks end. Or Jets end, excuse me. Long clear downfield. Furphy. Great power slide into the net. Well positioned, and is able to read that touch off the back wall. Sith Droid. 1-2 touch. Oh, through both of them, and the quick follow through. Furphy blindsided by Springy.
Part of the problem was both Hawks went for the same boost pad. Furphy grabs it and leaves uppercase 1 on an island where he can't challenge the pass from Sith Droid. Looked like a shot that just hit the near post with a rebound right out in front for Springy as Furphy's circling around trying to find himself in rotation to give up the shot and the goal.
And a big equalizer there for the Jets. One of the few times we've seen the Hawks lead the shot category, however, as they are currently at 3. The Jets at 2, pass in front, no one home. Springy, just a little bit of a mid-air collision with Furphy. Will slow this push over onto the Hawk side. Uppercase 1, having to play out of reverse. He's able to get the little half-flip challenge. This uppercase has to deal with this shot. It's going to be just high, and thankfully the follow-through from Sith Droid is right there and smashes one home.
And unfortunately, uppercase 1 goes up to the crossbar thinking he needs to tip that one away. If you're up like that, you have to make contact on the ball because when you come down, you can't recover. And Furphy coming across on the initial play can't get there either. Double shot or double scoring now for the Jets as they take the lead back with a lot of time left on the clock.
Yeah, and the awareness of that net, it's definitely a skill that takes a long time to develop. Once you've played enough games, that's the only real way to do it. You have to get a feel for where you are on the pitch at every moment in relation to your own goal, because for shots just like that, if you go up for it, like you said, you must hit the ball, and the only way you can hit the ball is if you don't run square into the crossbar.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of that is just positional awareness, it's experience, knowing exactly where you are in relation to everything else in the field. It's one of the toughest things to teach as well. If you're a coach, because it's really something that only comes by feeling.
Yeah, it's spatial awareness, and you can't coach spatial awareness. There's Furphy now up the sidewall. Well played by Springy, already up there, reading the clear patterns nicely. There's the pass out to the midfield. Well placed. Sith Droid rolls another one home.
And unfortunately, uppercase 1 trying to get out a little bit close. He's backwards there. As he turns, no power slide on it, just chips that against his backboard. And it's disaster now for the Hawks. They've given up 3 unanswered, and they find themselves down by 2 in a critical Game 4.
It was such a nice read by Springy as well up there on that side wall. It's, the ability to read the clears and how the ball has to react cannot be understated, and Sith Droid making a hat trick. My goodness.
I'll watch the Hawks defense there. 1 blue name on the line, 2 blue names on the line. No challenge. Sith Droid says, I'll take an angle. Picks the crossbar and down. 4-1. As the Jets pop off, and they are going hawk hunting.
And a very nice read from Sith Droid, because, yes, it does stem as a result of the Hawks not forcing one forward to challenge. I believe it was uppercase 1, the one first in the rotation, who should have been responsible for that initial challenge. But it's a great read from Sithdroid to say, hey, they're not challenging me. I can get a powerful shot off this bounce. He capitalized with everything he had behind that Octane. Is put hard off the back wall. Springy now down into the midfield. No touch for either team. Uppercase trying to take this challenge. Going to get demoed for his troubles. And Furphy going to try and keep things over onto the Jets side. Perhaps try and get a late game rally going. As you said, in this very critical game number 4 is with already losing the series, the playoff race becomes very difficult, and it only gets harder. Springy pounds one out to midfield for the playmaker medal, and Sithdroid tallies up his 4th goal.
Just wins the challenge, has his Octane at a great angle. That's the advantage of the tall car there. You don't get the ball past you very often if you've got yourself in a good spot. Octane versus Dominus. Octane wins that 50 almost all the time, right out to Sithdroid, who makes no mistake for his 4th.
Definitely becomes a positional battle if you're in the long car versus that tall hitbox of the Octane. Furphy blasts one high off the back wall. Tough read, can't quite get high enough to knock it back down. As the final 60 seconds begin to tick off the clock. Very patient are Sithdroid and Springy. No touch from Furphy. Uppercase can only try and catch this clear. Gives again, conceded all that space, and more importantly, didn't even take away the midfield boost. He was lurking out on there for so long, and now he's just out of the play.
And unfortunately, the Hawks' boost management right now, they've had a lot on a number of occasions, but there's just these little critical junctures where they're not securing boost, and it's really burning them here as Springy puts in the 6th for the Jets. And it's right there, just one touch off the backboard that doesn't get cleared away quickly. And Furphy going up to try and tip it away as well, both of them committing to that ball. It's easy pickings for the Jets.
Yeah, Uppercase one had a chance there off the back wall. I went to his camera to see what happened, and to me it just looked like he sort of wasn't fully aware of the fine car control that you really need to go and get those very difficult backboard clears. How about one for Brazil? Springy says thank you much, Uppercase, and they will fly down to South America after this series comes to a close.
And the Sky Division, very apt at flying ourselves down to South America. There are a number of aerospace memes there. I think the Jets will get us there fastest, though. I mean,
Jets will indeed.
Look at those titanium white turbines on Sithdroid.
That's always one of the best parts about the MLD, the style game. Springy, of course, rocking the Crimson Kalos, and they will ruin the Brazil. Never mind. Uppercase one says, get out of here.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to abort that one somewhere around Mexico. I guess a little bit warmer than Utopia Snowy, but throwing out the whoops in chat. Don't think he actually meant to do that. Was just trying to tip that one away. But an own goal for the road. The Hawks finally put one in, just not at the right end.
Wrong side. Feels bad, man. Well, that's game number 4. We have one more in this set of 5, and the Jets. I mean, it was basically a complete turnaround from game number 3, because the Hawks started to look like they got something going in game number 3. Sure, they lost the game. They didn't really score any goals, but they were at least able to limit all those offensive chances. And then you come into here to game number 4, and it's like, oh, 13 shots. Great. Okay, what happened?
Actually, 11 shots.
11 shots.
7,
I can count.
7
whatever.
And 4. Yeah,
whatever.
Caster math is easy,
whatever.
But it's still
Big crunch.
well above
Big
average.
crunch.
Still well above average. And I think just what happened was a lot of things just started to go wrong very, very quickly for the Hawks. Once they gave up that first goal, they really struggled to try and keep the ball under pressure. And it just kind of, went to goal on goal on goal. And not a lot you can do after that point.
Well, it's game number 5. The Jets kind of just cruised all the way throughout this series. Furphy pushed into the corner. Didn't have a lot of success on his kickoff that we saw in game number 4 initially. Went for that quick kickoff goal one more time, as this one's just wide. Uppercase needs to really make sure he powers this one across. Kind of drops it right in front. Furphy, quick reaction, pushed away. And they're actually through. Both defenders needed that touch to get it downfield, and now again the drive will stall and a chance to rally here for the Jets.
Very
Uppercase one all the way back. Wow.
Yeah, very unfortunate for the Hawks here. They're just kind of at odds with one another right now, and You can just see with the way that they're playing. Wow, was that a bump by Springy to set this up? Hang on. Furphy should have had a run at this one here. It was.
Yep.
Clears the road. Goodbye. Hello, Sith Droid on the goal. 1-0 Jets in Game 5.
There's a song that has a line in it, but I can't say it on stream. Oh well.
Feels not for mature audiences only.
Right.
MLD After
uppercase
Dark.
one. MLD, yes! Let's do it! MLD After Dark will sing karaoke and cast Rocket League in a very poor manner. As Furphy now out in front of the box, Sith Droid, so patient, buying all the time you could possibly want for Springy to get back on defense. However, does not read the play, and they are very grateful that Furphy came up empty on the wide open net. Nice clear from Furphy. Not the easiest touch to make. Trying to backflip one out towards your corner. Another double commit from the Hawks, but they do come out on top of the contest. How about a pass out to midfield? He ran out of boost. Furphy's not going to be able to make it, and he will have to just peel out here and take this midfield boost and hope uppercase one takes the corner.
And unfortunately, Furphy didn't have any boost in transition there. Didn't have a chance to get that
beautiful
ball,
shot.
But what a shot as he picks up the tying goal here. Oh, Springy losing control of that ball. In that instant, Furphy goes on the attack. That's the decisiveness you need to challenge that ball, especially in 2v2 when your opponent's teammate oftentimes will be a little bit more advanced and you can catch them very, very quickly with that pickpocket.
Yeah, that's always something that also really requires a field, just like that spatial awareness we were talking about. You have to realize when you can go and get on top of an opponent's dribble very early. Because once you let them start the dribble, then you're kind of at their mercy. But if you can read that first or maybe even second touch, if they don't quite get exactly what they want, and that is exactly what Furphy did, then you get the counterattack like we saw in the 1v1 out in front of the net. Furphy came out on top. We're at the halfway point here in game number 5. The Hawks able to keep things fairly close here, but still the Jets leading in that shot category already at 5.
And unfortunately, again, Furphy missing some
Nice
boost.
bump.
Sith Droid.
What a demo!
Woo! Oh, it doesn't matter.
No! Oh, that hurts so much. You're
Sith
like,
Droid.
yes, brilliant play, Furphy. Great demo to keep things going. And uppercase one just struggling to regain command of his car. Like, just flailing at what he thought was going to be a shot coming, and his teammate bailed him out of it. And unfortunately, the recovery time taken too long.
Yeah, went up the inside of the goal, came off the post, and flailed is probably the best way to describe the mechanical control out of uppercase one on that play. It's unfortunate for the Hawks because Furphy did everything right as he got into the back of Springy on that play.
Yeah, and if you're uppercase one, you kind of realize, you hope you go back and watch this series if you want to. And you say, you know what, I can work on my approaches out of the net coming off the walls, because that's one thing that I have seen about uppercase one. When he's jumping off those walls to try and go get balls that are out in the middle of the pitch, he doesn't exactly have the best fine car control, and there's certainly a couple of trainer packs that are more than capable of helping with that. Springy up the side wall, comes up empty, does give a little bit of a love tap to Furphy, follow through by uppercase, not quite over the head. Will get pushed out towards the side. Furphy trying to find a touch out into the midfield or perhaps towards the corner. So the Hawks want the midfield boost. Sith Droid wants the corner. Long clear downfield. Gonna be on target. Slips through the defense and it's into the left side.
Well, you take your foot off the gas, you give your opponents possession of the ball, and boom, they put it right down at you there. Furphy should have had that one, but in my mind, the mistake is from uppercase one, not trusting that he can challenge the ball with 40 boost, and instead turning to grab the 100 pack, and both of them get caught out of position on the play.
Definitely agree. You have to force the issue, especially when you're already down goals with under 2 minutes to go. You need offense. You cannot afford to give away possession. Unfortunately, it gets compounded by them getting scored on in a couple of touches. Springy blasts one off the back wall. Follow through by Sith Droid. Going to roll up and buy a little bit of time for Furphy and uppercase to reset. Dribble out in front of the net. Kept away by Springy. Pushed back in. Furphy kept away as well. And there is Sith Droid into the left side once again. Heck of a job by Springy.
Yeah, Springy just stuffing everything in front of the net. Gets through uppercase, then dunks Furphy right back across the face of goal. Nothing the Hawks can do on that one, as they just failed to clear the ball off their goal line and Sithdroid puts this one out of reach, ostensibly speaking. 3 goals in 45 seconds. Possible.
That is a good word. Ostensibly. Would you be a dear and educate me?
It's
been a while.
It's like apparent. It's a fancy way of saying apparent. I think I'd have to look that up. You know what? I'm gonna go Google this.
Ha! We got him, boys.
Oh, please.
It's springing out into the corner. While Jay looks up dictionary word things, we'll wrap up this game number 5. The Hawks gonna have to settle for an 0-5 as Sithdroid actually able to slip another one into the left side. He has been picking on that left side of the Hawks net. It feels like a vast majority of the shots from him in the past 2 games have gone into the left corner.
A very good shot placement from Sithdroid, just picking that post apart. And ostensibly adverb, apparently or purportedly, but perhaps not actually.
So, wait. So apparently, but chance of not actually.
I think
It's
that
like
was accurate.
it's like an optical illusion. It's like it looks that way, but it's not that way.
Exactly, but the Jets ramping up the offense as they get 13 shots on goal to the Hawks' lone one that they put in, and it's going to be another long offseason, I think, for the Hawks. I'll have to do the math in the interim, but that might just about do it for their playoff hopes, as they cannot catch the Ducks at the top, and the Storm division, their chokehold on those Blue Conference wildcard spots, very, very difficult to try and overcome at the moment.
Yeah, like you said, I believe 2 teams out of the Storm already holding those Blue Conference wildcard spots. I believe one of them is the Sharks, right? Is that correct? That was a couple weeks ago we were talking about it.
The Storm division actually juggling a little bit this week as the Sharks dropped a series to the Comets, who are at the bottom of the division. And still pending the outcome of the Spartans Lightning thing. I believe that one might put the Spartans in charge of the division, with the Sharks sitting at 28 wins as well. So very, very congested at the top of the Blue Conference standings. But speaking of the Blue Conference standings, the other division in the Blue Conference, you forget about them every once in a while because it's a new division this season, the Arctic division. We'll have the Blizzard and the Puffins coming up, as it will be Cloud Fuel and Jeremazing playing up against their counterparts Manatee and Kyle the Murphy. We're going to have that game for you right on the other side of this break. You're watching MLD Showdown Sunday here on Twitch.tv.